Hello Reformers and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband. Now, when we left off, we were almost prepared to create our own faction, and I have been attempting to do just that, because when you speak to Sultan Hakim and you say to him, I want to be renounced with my oath, and so on and so forth, he actually does not allow you to do it by taking your fiefs with you. Obviously he's not going to allow you to take your fiefs. Now, you can't even do it forcefully. You can't even say, oh, well, I'm just going to go away anyway. I'm just going to take my fiefs with me, whether you like it or not. You can't actually say that to him, unfortunately. As you can see on the screen right now, there's only two options in each screen, and one of them is, yes, sir, no problem at all, sir. I'm going to stay here with you, no problem. And the other one is, no, sir, I'm going to leave, and I don't care what you say, but you have to give up your fiefs. So, yeah, there's obviously those two options. Obviously, at the end of that, what you can do is, if you renounce your oath, then you can obviously just go and take one of your own fiefs instead. So, for example, if I were to remove all of the units from Nara, by the way, there's about 300 in there now, because I thought to myself, yeah, I'm probably gonna get to take them away, and that's what I'm trying to do, you see. So what I've done is I've actually taken Nadar Castle from the Nords. Yeah, I probably need to catch you up a little bit on the events that have been going on. Now, what happened was, I was just minding my own business, leveling up units. I have a whole bunch of veteran footmen and horsemen and all that kind of thing in Nara's garrison, and I was just leveling those up in my party. I was just waiting for some time, basically, the laziest way that you can level up things. And then, all of a sudden, the Sarranids declared war against the Kingdom of Nords. Now, obviously, that's a pretty reasonable thing to do, although the Sarranids are very far away from, Nord territory. But they seem to be making a pretty good go of things. I'll show you in just a second what I mean by that. But anyway, the point is that after that, a few in-game days later, the Khergit Khanate decided that they wanted a piece of the action, so they declared war against the Sarranids. So now we have basically a 2 versus 1 situation, and it's the Nords and the Khergits against the Sarranids. Now, usually that would be absolutely fine, but now I'm having difficulty actually deciding where I need to go. And I decided that I would actually try to take some of the Nord fiefs. Now, most of these are actually seeming to be pretty easy for the Sarranids to take. I don't know why. It could be because of the war with the Rhodoks, because it seems like most of the garrisons have about 80 to 150 units. And in general, that's not actually a big deal. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a lot of Swadian Knights and a lot of Sarranid Mamluks in my army at the moment. I got a little bit irritated because what was actually happening was I was running around, as I said, I was running around trying to get some food, and then out of nowhere I was attacked by a Nord vassal. And, well, he was kind of annoying. I think his name was, what was it now, Jarl Sadun or something along those lines? Yeah, and he had 135 units, and I had about 96 or something like that. I didn't have a maximum army or anything like that because, who knows, maybe I would have come across a village or something and I could have recruited some more volunteers. But, yeah, anyway, so I had about 96. I had about 40 veteran footmen, and I had 5 Sarranid Mamluks and about 12 Sarranid horsemen and things like that. Now, do you want to know what he had? He had 86 Nord warriors and 72 or something along those lines Nord veterans. I'm just exaggerating the number, but he had a huge amount of Nord warriors and Nord veterans. It's just absolutely insane. And you can kind of assume what happened. I was defeated, I had to run away, and yeah, that was very annoying. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stop playing games. I'm gonna stop playing games now. Technically, I am playing a game. Obviously. Self-referential right there. Anyway, yes. So I'm going to stop playing games, and I basically just took out all of the Mamluks and all of the knights that I could, actually do that, and this is the result. This is the result. Nadar Castle has been taken as a result of my aggression towards the Nords, because I was just peacefully leaving them to their own devices. I was not wanting to get involved with the war, because basically what I wanted to do was, well, just kind of allow the factions to do their own thing. And as you can see, I've been waiting for a very, very long time for something to happen. There was no war up until about 2 in-game weeks ago, and look at the amount of money. The amount of money I have is just insane. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, we're going to see what happens with Nadar Castle. Oh yeah, Asunder Castle was taken by none other than Jarl Serdun as well. And then the Saranids took it back. I believe it was Emir Bilaya who took it back. And then the Kyrgyz took Asunder Castle. So apparently Asunder Castle is pretty hot property for some reason. Calradia Castle is still under Nord territory. We actually did take, apparently the Saranids did take Viancourt Castle and Praven. They did take Praven. So I'm going to maybe head over there and see what's actually going on. Oh, what's going on here? Who's that? Does that guy have a big army or not? I'm actually unsure about that. But yes, as I stated in the previous episode, I really, really do want to create our own faction as soon as possible. But obviously, as it is, you know, if you're an experienced player of Warband, or if you've just played, you know, a couple of hours, then you will certainly know that it is not a game that you can rush. And, well, you can rush it if you want, but in general, it's going to be much, much more difficult to rush than it is to kind of take your time and plan things out a little bit. As you can see, though, our cavalry-focused army is absolutely decimating the ranks of anyone that steps up to us, and that's exactly what I've been doing, and that's exactly how Nadar Castle fell to us. They only had 74 in the garrison for some reason. I have no idea why, but they just fell down, basically. They had about, I don't know, 30 recruits and a couple of militia and, you know, things like that. And yeah, it's kind of a bit surprising, to be honest, because I actually thought the Nords had much better garrisons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go on a bit of a siege spree. And hopefully at the end of that, we will be able to create our own faction. Now, obviously, that will then mean that I'm going to, you know, cut away a little bit, you know, for travel times and things like that, so that I can actually fit all of the footage into one episode, because otherwise it's just going to, I mean, literally, I have been waiting for, I don't even know, about 3 hours, you know, in real life, and, you know, I don't know, I have other things to do, I have other videos to make, and obviously, I do need to, you know, I have other responsibilities. But the thing is that literally 3 hours I've been waiting here, waiting just for something to happen. And yeah, finally something did. And it's just, yeah, it's kind of got me on edge a little bit, you know? Yeah. And that's exactly the reason why I was just like, yeah, we're going to bring out those Swedian knights. You know, after that defeat by Jarl Serdun or whatever his name was. Yeah, that was grinding my gears. It was certainly grinding my gears right there. So yeah, we are finally taking the fight to them. Instead of just being a defender, instead of just being like a, you know, a bit of a passive role. You know, we were playing a pretty passive role up until now, to be honest. I mean, we weren't really doing too much. We were kind of just, you know, moseying around Asunder Castle, trying to do a little bit with the Kyrgyz and things like that. And, you know, I just decided enough is enough. And we're finally gonna, you know, actually do something rather, you know, rather aggressive and see what's going on here. So we're gonna gain some pretty decent renown as a result of this. Hopefully we'll be able to get some honor as well. No, apparently not. I did actually save, I think it was 2 or maybe even 3 villages from some bandit infestations. So that's pretty cool. I think that was, you know, that was pretty nice, because we did get a little bit of an honor increase from that. I actually don't care about these prisoners at all. We have so much money that it really isn't even worth it, and they just slow me down quite a lot, so I don't really care that much about them. I don't really care about the loot either, because we're making so much cash. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to just put these guys in the garrison here, because I don't really want to get slowed down, but I didn't really want to waste the money if indeed we need it at some point. But yeah, anyway, let's just see what happens to Nadar Castle. Oh yeah, also, by the way, the lieges, the kings of Calradia have been going on an absolutely, I don't even know, they seem to have lost their minds slightly, because what they've been doing is this. Do you see this? Do you see what's happening in the text here? King Yaroglek, King Graveth, King... Well, no, I was going to say Harlaus, actually, but no, he's no longer in the game. But yeah, King Ragnar and Sultan Hakim and... well, actually not Sanjar Khan. Sanjar Khan has not been partaking in this so much, but every other liege in the game has been indicting a huge amount of vassals. And I have no idea why they decided to do this. It got to a specific... I know, wait a minute. We passed day 300. We passed day 300, so that might be the reason for their, I don't even know, aggressive indicting of some of their vassals. Very, very strange, I have to say. Now, here you go. This is exactly why we are swimming in money. We're just gaining 12,000 each time. Nara has been untouched for a very, very long time, and as you can see, it has, I think it's gone up to average, and it even got up to rich status at one point, and that is obviously giving us a huge amount of cash right there. So pretty happy with that. Obviously, we are still having a huge amount of people here. I don't even know what's going on with these guys, to be honest. They seem to just really want to attack us a lot, but obviously, you know, Nadar Castle doesn't really have a garrison or anything like that. Now, what I'm hoping on doing is literally just taking out as many vassals as possible, and then seeing what happens after that. But I think after this fight, I'm going to be cutting away and seeing what happens, because I would very much like to create our faction in this episode. I did say that we will be in the previous one, and I mean, you've heard what I've had to say. You've heard what I've had to say. I've had to do so much off-screen work that I really, really didn't want to do, because I like to show as much as possible of the experience, you know, of the journey. And it's just a bit of a shame that sometimes the game does not really allow you to do that, because there's just so much waiting time. You know, if I was to stream this, for example, if I was to stream this, it would literally be me just sitting there, and I don't really think that's very fun, is it? Is that very fun for you? I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, it's not fun for me, so how can it be fun for you? Because you're just watching it, right? So, I mean, yeah, that's exactly the reason why I much prefer the sort of video format for Mount and Blade. I don't know whether it will be streamed in the future, maybe, but yeah, I think there are many other games that are a lot better for streaming, because they just have something going on all the time. I suppose that is the sort of failure of some RPGs in some aspects, because obviously you are going to have lulls in the action, and you know, in most you might actually have something to do, but in this, especially at this point, I just have a lot of waiting time. And yeah, I maybe some of you don't really mind, but I think maybe the majority might. But anyway, let's have a look, see. There's only 2 left. All right, so that's great. I am then going to be, yeah, just waiting, basically. Just waiting and seeing who Sultan... Yeah, by the way, I actually spoke to Sultan Hakim, as you saw at the beginning of the video, and he has one relation with us. Yeah. Just one. Just one relation. I have no idea why he is giving me all of these fiefs, because he doesn't like us that much. He literally does not like us that much, so I have no idea. He must just have some sort of fascination with Barney Beartilde for some reason. Don't know why, but he seems to. I don't really get it. But anyway, I'm gonna cut back when he makes a decision, and otherwise I'm just gonna continue killing Nords, who apparently want to throw themselves... Oh no, there we go. There's someone helping me. Ah, thank you. That's a nice little bit of relax there. Well, this seems to be... I don't even know. I don't really have the words for this, to be honest. Okay, so basically, if I am unable to create my own faction in this episode, then I can't really... shouldn't have really promised to do it in this one, should I? No, shouldn't have really done that. But I actually did think 100% that I'd be able to do it, because, you know... It was all set up. Everything was absolutely fantastic. I was setting things up for the entire time that I was off screen. And then, this is what happens. The Kingdom of Aegis have now declared war against the Sultanate. And I have a very, very large party of Khergits. Yeah, they're attempting to attack me now as well. And there seems to be a Saranid fighting someone over there. Yeah. Alright, so this is obviously going to be one of those times when... things just do not go right. As soon as I hit that record button, That's exactly what happens every single time. Anyway, there we go. This is the current map. I thought we'd just take a look at it real quick. We actually did take Praven and Terran Castle, the Saranids did. I was not involved in that. And yeah, obviously the Nords have just taken it back. I don't know what the Saranids are doing, to be honest. They seem to be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit running around like headless chickens or something along those lines, but alright. It seems like I'm gonna have to defend here against an overwhelming force. Who is this? Brula Noyan. Okay, well, I can only hope that my Swadian Knights and Saranid Mamluks will be able to defend against such a large force. I guess we'll see. Alright, so here we go. We are against 300 Khergit Khanate units, and I'm actually thinking that we might have a pretty decent shot at defending against these guys. Do bear in mind, I actually don't have the best weapon proficiency with this one-handed axe, so if you see, my swing speed, it's pretty awful. So yeah, if you see that, and then take into account that I might not be able to beat any of the Lancers in one-on-one combat because of that, then yeah, then at least you know. But otherwise, I think we're actually fine as long as we stay on the side here and don't let too many hits through. I think we might actually be in a really, really good position here. But once we've taken this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work towards like a lot more. I actually wanted to show the process of creating the faction, but what I might do is I might try to get the screen, the screen up where it says, "Oh, Sultan Hakim has declined your request to give you ownership of this." That's that screen. And I think I might start the next episode when that screen is actually appearing, because that would obviously save a lot of this extra drama that would that would otherwise be avoided, of course. That would very much save us that time. So do let me know. Do let me know about that, because, obviously you're watching this too, and it would be kind of nice to have a little bit of community involvement every now and again. So yeah, that would be kind of nice. Anyway, otherwise, I think I'm probably going to do that anyway, but I don't know. I mean, it really depends. If there are some interesting fights, like for example, I think this is a pretty interesting fight because we've never had the Khergits actually try to take something from us in this manner. We have always been attacking the Khergits and, besieging their fiefs instead of them actually attacking us. So I think it's a pretty nice, scene to actually see, the Khergits trying their hardest to take something from us instead, because they're awful at it. As you can see, they're actually awful at it, and I'm really, really happy about that, to be honest, because, I mean, we had to stand there in previous episodes with our master archers. We had to just stand there and it was very frustrating to just see all those arrows hitting the really quite good shields of the Khergit Lancers, and we just couldn't get through. We just couldn't get through. And then as soon as we did charge, all of our Mamluks would die, and it would just be setback after setback, basically. And it's just really cool to see that the Khergits are also having a bit of trouble, isn't it? I think it's a good amount of payback, isn't it? Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Anyway, it seems like, yeah, in the next episode we're probably going to be doing that. Although, I can't promise anything because the game does not always go my way, even though it may seem like that on the video. Just bear that in mind. There are many, many things that happen off-screen that are really bad, and yeah, I mean, you've seen the bad times. You've seen the bad times where I have, tried to defend something and then end up getting defeated, and then we're having to build up from scratch. I mean, it happened within the last 5 episodes, didn't it? I seem to remember, us being defeated and me having to go around recruiting more volunteers and things like that. But yeah, that happens. That happens. So it's not always, roses and sunshine and all that sort of thing. It's just I choose to show some of the more progressive elements of, my gameplay in the video. I am going to show the losses because I'm not afraid of actually showing these things, because I personally feel like that makes the experience that much richer, because you know what that does? It shows realism, because if I'm going to be undefeated, that's not realistic. you know? Every great general is defeated every now and again. I'm not saying I'm a great general, by the way. I'm just saying that even the best get defeated every now and again. So, you know, it may seem like sometimes I'm kind of unstoppable, but I think that's literally just because some of the time you'll catch me in a really good situation. Like, for example, this is a great situation to be in, but if we were on the other side, or if this was a different faction, then it wouldn't be so good, you know, because if we were, for example, attempting to take a town with 300 Khergit defenders, we would not be in a very good position. I don't think, at least. I don't think we'd be in a good position. And if we were, you know, for example, being attacked by the Nords right now, if we were being attacked by Jarl Sadun, you know, with his, you know, 60 or so veterans and I don't even know how many Nord warriors, you know, a lot of Nord warriors. So if we were being attacked by him, for example, that would not be a good situation. So it really just depends at the time, you know, what I'm going to be showing in the video. So yeah, don't be disheartened, by the way. Don't be disheartened if you are playing in your own game, you know, beside me, playing along beside me. Then don't get disheartened, because these things happen to me as well. You know, these things do happen to me. They've happened to me more often than, you know, anything, to be honest. And that's kind of the charm of the game, but it's also very frustrating. And I can wholeheartedly agree that the game does get tedious at some points. You know, like, for example, like what I've been doing off screen, it does get tedious. But in the end, it's all going to be worth it, because we're all going to, you know, have a good old fun time conquering Calradia, aren't we? Yeah. We're going to be conquering it in the name of Reformia. So obviously, you know, there is that. I just thought I'd let you know that it's not all sunshine. So, you know, so you don't lose heart in your own games. If you are indeed having some problems, then, you know, just rethink what you're doing. You know, just rethink what you're doing. Maybe attack it or defend it from a different angle. Maybe, you know, just take a bit of time out and do some trading or something. You know, build up your wages or something along those lines. And, you know, just take it as it comes, and basically just play the game the way that you want to play it, because that's the whole point of Mount and Blade, in my opinion. Playing the game how you want to play it. That's what I did. I mean, I enforced my own rules on myself, you know, basically making it so that I would only use Saranid units. In hindsight, that's probably a bit of a mistake, because it's pretty difficult to use only one kind of unit, you know. You've got to recruit from a certain specific set of villages, and if you're not in that area at the time, then you're not going to be able to get more recruits, and so on and so forth. And it does make it a little bit difficult when you choose a faction that doesn't have really, really powerful units. So, for example, if you were to choose the Nords, I think you'd be, you know, doing a pretty good job. I mean, obviously the field battles, I think, would be, you know, a little bit difficult if you're going up against the Swadians, but in sieges, you have everything. You know, you have absolutely everything to go for there. But as you can see, we literally didn't lose anyone, because that's it. You know, they just didn't have anything. They just didn't have anything. This is one of the best situations that you can be in. And let me tell you, I'm not always in these situations. You've seen that. You have seen that. So, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Yes, they have been defeated. Unfortunately, they all escaped. I'm really sad about that, actually. Yeah, I'm actually pretty sad about that. Oh, well, never mind. I'm just going to take those horses, and then we'll just continue onward. I didn't really want to take any of the prisoners either, but yeah, seems like I'm gonna actually, what I'm gonna do actually is just gonna wait here a little bit, and I'm gonna see whether Sultan Hakim actually does give us Nadar Castle. If he does give us Nadar Castle, then that's fine. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna decline the honor, and that will then set us up for the next episode, where we will have almost 100% certainty to be declined, and then we will create our own faction from there. It seems like he's not going to be awarding it to me because it's consistently being besieged, so I guess I'm going to have to clean that up a little bit, and yeah, well, I've told you what I'm going to do now, at least. So I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.